Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel and another episode of Dump and Chase. We are finished the round robin in the Olympics. We're going into the qualifiers, and so much has happened. Some expected, some unexpected, and some other performances that definitely have not lived up to expectation. We're going to go through all of that, kind of some takeaways from the whole round robin as a whole and what I've seen through these Olympics, as well as some predictions and everything else just going through the leaders. It should be a very fun podcast. But before we get into that, make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell, and comment. I want to hear what all of you have to say, as always, and I guess your thoughts in the round robin and going into these qualifiers and everything else in between. It's so nice to have this type of hockey back, and I'm so excited for what more can be coming. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the content. Okay, so starting off with all the games that we didn't really talk about Friday, and we're not going to stay too long on some of these, but we will go over them quickly here. The Sweden-Slovakia game. You know, I've never seen a team and some guys so happy to lose a game but score so late. Dalibor Dvorsky, him in this tournament alone. I think a lot of people talk about, Slavkovsky, how good the goaltending has been for Slovakia as a whole, but not Dvorsky. And him scoring that, even just the points that he's been able to put on the board in this tournament have been pretty impressive. And I think for Slovakia, they win Group B, they get that bye to the quarterfinals, which is just so crazy considering a group of Finland and Sweden, and none of them really topped the group. Obviously still Finland had the best second place spot, but I mean, it's still so crazy to think about. So shout out to Slovakia there. Still pretty disappointing from Sweden as a whole. Latvia beats Germany. I think that was a semi-surprising for most people. I thought Germany was personally going to win. I thought this was a really good game by Artur Shilovs, and I did say they weren't going to get any points, and I was right about them losing to Denmark. I didn't think Denmark would be, kind of going out quietly, especially when everyone makes it to this playoff round or qualifier round, if you want to say it that way. Two blowout games with Finland winning 11-0 over Italy and Canada winning 10-2 over France. Canada in that game securing a first place spot overall in the tournament as a seed, and they will, I believe, they're going to be facing either Czechia or Denmark. I'm expecting it to be Czechia. We'll see how that one works out. But again, going to be interesting for this one. What I do want to shout out is Italy right now. Yeah, they lose 11-0, and pretty bad game overall in that way. Again, I don't really think everyone was expecting that terrible of a shutout compared to their game before. But I really would like to give them their flowers. Throughout this whole tournament, I think everyone was expecting that 11-0 game every game, and that just did not happen. Their first game against Sweden actually looked really well. I've talked about this so much on my stories, on the last podcast, and everything else. It's so crazy how well they've been able to do, outside of that 11-0 game. They bring Sweden to a 3-2 game almost to the end of the third period, which is just nuts. They almost beat Slovakia in that 3-2 game. That was way too close for them. I know that for sure. For Italy, zero expectations. The crowd's behind them. Their fans are there playing on home ice, if you want to say it that way. It is, but is it really home ice kind of thing? But yeah, good for them. I wanted to shout them out just quickly there. USA-Denmark in that 6-3 game. Definitely underwhelming performance by USA. They followed up with a really nice win against Germany today. But yeah, I mean, Denmark, they were always going to have some push. And I think we saw that exactly in this back-to-back from them. You lose to USA after you kind of somewhat had them on the ropes in a way. I don't know if you could say that fully. They kind of took over about halfway through, but exactly with that game against Latvia, right? that you have a chance against that team. With USA, they were playing well enough to where they could stay in the game, but eventually it's kind of like knocking on that door. You're next in that way, and that's exactly what happened. Swiss beat Czechia. Swiss are always going to be a team that I'm going to watch for, and we're going to get to Giannotti, but he's been so good. And I think people asked me, and again, we'll get to it, but about how dominant he's been just as a whole when he competes for his country. His numbers are insane, and in this tournament, it's absolutely no different. So the Swiss, they take the second spot in Group A, and again, we'll start talking about the groups. But yeah, like this is going to be very interesting, and we'll get to the groups right now. Canada tops Group A, followed by Switzerland, Czechia, and France. Not too much of a surprise, I should say. Like I thought Czechia was going to be second. I will say they were a little bit disappointing, I feel, or at least I felt as a whole. Like Canada being 3-0, no surprise. Outscoring opponents 20-3, especially shutting out Czechia in that first game 5-0 was pretty surprising. I was expecting a little bit more of a push. The Swiss, I liked them as my underdog team. Losing Kevin Fiala, which they explained it as multiple fractures in his leg. That's terrible to see, such a freak accident. I hope that he recovers great. He'll miss the rest of the NHL season with the LA Kings, but, again, very unfortunate for the Swiss. They could have used him here. I had them going fourth in this tournament after beating the USA. That won't happen now if the playoffs turn out how they are. Maybe they can face themselves later if they get that far. I'm not sure, but I'm not expecting them to really get to that spot now. Again, it's very, very different, but there's so many matchups that are going to be different. Group B, Slovakia tops this one. As I mentioned, very, very crazy. So different. They go 2-0-1 here. I think that's actually wrong when I see Sweden with 2 wins. I don't believe that's right. But, that's just me seeing that. In this way, with Slovakia winning twice, they go and beat Finland in their first game, right? They squeak out a win against Italy, and they make that happen. I think you could be really happy about how Slovakia's done, and if they end up losing in the quarterfinals, then I think Slovakia fans will take some solace in the fact that they went a lot farther. They surprised a lot of people. They had some guys making some very welcomed performances in this game, and showing the world of what they can do. I think that was so nice. Finland and Sweden were definitely underwhelming in some aspects. Finland, especially in their first game. Sweden, essentially just over this whole round robin. Like even another guy, and who we'll talk about in the next topic, is Philip Gustafsson. Like he just didn't look great. Markstrom looked fine. I think in the game that he played, they ended up winning it. So there's that positive. But yeah, and we already talked about Italy and how well I think they did to expectations, even though they're outscored 4-19. No one was expecting to get those 11 goals. You take those 11 out, maybe put like a 6 spot in there. It doesn't look as terrible. But yeah, it's pretty interesting Group B. Definitely a lot more competitive. It's still going to be competitive, but definitely a lot different than I was expecting. Group C went how I expected, actually. Kind of crazy. USA goes first, Germany second, Denmark third, and Latvia fourth. Only really the switch here was Latvia gets a win over Germany. I was expecting Germany to have about 5 points and Denmark to have 4. Didn't go that way. But yeah, this is at least how this shapes out in terms of who's in what spot. That's about right. I think Latvia, as I mentioned in my preview videos, I never really felt that they should be last, but in such a competitive group, that's where I had them, right? Like they're pretty much on the same spot as a Denmark closer to a Germany, but Germany obviously is better than those two as a whole, even though, Latvia wins over Germany, and Germany kind of has like a really underwhelming performance against USA. It is what it is, I guess, in this way, but all of them get a win, all of them get 3 points. The goal differential is the biggest thing here. That's how it's always been. So for something like this, I think you can take some positives from it if you're Latvia, of course, and like you're going into the qualifiers, even though it's against Sweden, they haven't played that great, to be honest. They haven't really been that consistent, so I don't think they should be that scared. I think if you play your game, you get some goaltending, Latvia can do anything. Denmark, kind of the same thing. You have Frederik Andersen who can show up, but as a whole, his numbers have been very meh. Germany, you have your big stars. They have to show up. The X factor, again, is probably going to be goaltending with Philip Grubauer. Is he going to be that guy? Is he not going to be? I think as a whole this year, he's definitely been that for Seattle. But when it comes to Germany, he had that one hiccup game. The first one was just absolutely stellar. That's what you got to hope for. And then, USA. They kind of have everything that you need to. You're expecting them to go really far. I don't really know how far my my first prediction was going to go. Didn't go very far even off the bat. They're not going to be facing the Swiss in the quarterfinals, and we'll see that right here, right? So Germany to France, Swiss, Italy, like it depends on seeding, of course, here, but this could be a very interesting one. This could be the one to watch out for. I'm really, really, really excited, and it should be so fun. So I mean, look, Finland-Swiss should be a really good matchup. Again, losing Kevin Fiala does not help. You still have Nico Hischier, you still have Timo Meier, Roman Josi, JJ Moser, Jonas Siegenthaler, and then, of course, Giannotti, who, we'll just go to it quickly here, Giannoni. I don't know why I said Giannotti. 949 in the 3 games that he played. A 148 goals against. Absolutely disgusting numbers. And I'll go up to the comment right here. He says, are you new to Giannoni? He plays like that every time he represents his country. I'm not new to him. Again, I don't watch him on a daily basis, but I am familiar with his game. This guy's longevity is absolutely crazy. But you can't be telling me that you were expecting him to essentially put up almost a 950 over 3 games with Czechia and Canada in your group. It's been crazy. Like, this is not to put down the comment. I think you're right. Like, his game, there should be more on him, and he should be kind of given more credit. But come on, no one was expecting him to put up these numbers. Sometimes it's just a little crazy talk when it comes to something like that. Yeah, so for Swiss, Finland, the biggest X factor, of course, will be goaltending too, but I think it's the stars for Switzerland showing up. I think them being able to hang out in games and kind of put on pressure is the biggest thing here. Finland definitely is coming into this one with a lot more confidence. I mean, when you blow out a team, no matter who it is, 11-0, Jussi Saros, he is going to be that guy. He's going to be the starter for sure. And again, this is saying that Switzerland gets by Italy. I'm expecting them to, but again, you never know. Chances are pretty low, but you never know. I'm so excited for that one game. Other one that I'm very, very excited for outside of like the bigger ones and what could be Canada, Czechia, and Sweden, USA. Germany, Slovakia really does give me some excitement. And again, you never know. France could move on, but let's just talk about it as if Germany moves on here. Slovakia, Germany should be a pretty even matchup. Slovakia has kind of ridden the coattails of Slavkovsky in this tournament. Now, outside of the one guy right here in Samuel Halave, I think that's how you pronounce it. I could be wrong, but he's been so good, 934 all around. Like, Slovakia just as a whole has been pretty solid. But when you talk about how good this matchup could be, Slovakia, I feel like could be argued to be a little bit deeper than Germany in terms of just depth, but star power, I mean, it's Germany all the way. I mentioned even before with JJ Peterka, Leon Draisaitl, Moritz Seider, Tim Stützle, like all of these names are going to be factors in if they make it past the quarterfinal or the qualifications with ease into the quarterfinals and possibly into the semis, right? Like, it's not out of the question that they couldn't get to the semifinals, right? Like, Slovakia has done very well this tournament, but Germany is just as capable to be able to do that, right? Like, every game is different. That's what makes it hockey so exciting, is in these types of, single game has it all. If you're playing well that night, and you may not be the better team, you could win, right? Like, overall, you may not be the better team on paper, but you could win. Same thing could happen with Swiss-Finland. I'm expecting Finland to win, but, how is that going to go? So Germany, I'm expecting to go through over France. I think it could be a close game, right? Like, everyone's mindset kind of switches when it goes to these playoff modes, right? Like, it's one game, single elimination. So you never know. I'm expecting Switzerland to go through. Canada or Czechia and Denmark. I mean, this game could be so well done, and I'm so excited to see of what it could look like. I'm expecting Denmark to really battle in this one. I'm expecting Czechia to win, of course, but I will say the one thing I am very surprised about, and we'll go to the goalies here again, is Lucas Dostal hasn't played very, very well in this tournament. But I'll also point out that Karl Vejmelka has not gotten a start. How has he not gotten a start? I don't know what it is. Dan Vladar got a start, and he didn't do exactly well. Still got the win, but I mean, like, it wasn't that impressive of a team. No offense to France, but you know, like it is kind of disappointing, I guess, that he hasn't gotten this. Like, he's been really good over the last 2 months. Played the most games, I think, in the NHL so far this year. Has pretty decent numbers, too. He was, at the start of the tournament, I think I was projecting him to be the starter over Dostal. And I think, honestly, prior to that, you could debate on who could have been that guy. Easily. But I am surprised he didn't get a game. I really am. So I'm interested to see what will happen here. Like, if they squeak by Denmark, does he get a start, or maybe not? Because, you know, Dostal, who I'm expecting to probably get it anyway, that's because he got the win. You know, he's represented Czechia. That's probably why they're giving him the chance to kind of prove himself and that leeway compared to a Vejmelka, and especially of Vladar. I think he's also done the same in past years. I could be wrong, but. Yeah, like, I'm expecting Denmark to battle. I think Czechia is going to win. Sweden, Latvia, you know, I said it before and I'll say it again. Sweden hasn't been great this tournament. You know, it seems like there's a lot going on in that locker room with who they want to be on the ice versus who they don't want to be on the ice. How Philip Forsberg isn't getting a ton of time. How OEL isn't really being used that much. I'm surprised. But again, you have your guys that you like. You have your guys that you don't like. So when it comes to this game, I think that Latvia, again, a team that if they get good goaltending, they can hang in. And the longer they hang in, the more dangerous they get. I'm still expecting Sweden to win, but I wouldn't be too surprised if Latvia were able to pull out some type of upset, just because of how Sweden has been this whole time and just how iffy things have kind of looked. But yeah, I mean, so that means I'm taking Sweden, Czechia, Swiss, and Germany. Unfortunately, no upsets in that. But I'll go through it quickly here. Germany, Slovakia. I do like Slovakia's chances just in terms of the hype level and the momentum that they're carrying, especially with the rest too. So I'll go Slovakia. Swiss, Finland. I'll still go Finland. But again, I do like the Swiss chances of upsetting and possibly being in the bronze medal game. Again, I'm not going to take that out just because they're not facing the USA now. Like, I still think USA gets the gold medal. That's not even a question. But yeah, and then Czechia, Canada. I'm expecting Canada to win this one. I do expect Czechia to come out absolutely flying in this game, considering that they just got absolutely bashed in the first matchup. And then Sweden, USA. This one, I mean, again, this one could go either way. If Sweden gets this win here, I do think they have a lot more confidence going against the USA. And I'll be interested to see how they play them, because the US, I'm expecting them to be in that gold medal no matter what. Even with me saying that I thought they were going to get bounced in the quarterfinals against Switzerland, obviously they are a gold medal team and they should be going there, or at least are expected to go there. But the seeding is going to be different, right? So when it comes to something like this, USA should beat Sweden, but again, like, if Sweden does their things right, if they play right, and we'll get into Rasmus Dahlin and Philip Gustafsson and everything else, like, they should be able to pull this one through. Now, going into the names, we're going to go through these just quickly here. Joel Armia, he's getting power play time on Finland. Looked really good. He has 4 points in 3 games. Ginani, you know, we talked about him. 949. 148, so good. Juraj Slafkovsky, 6 points, 3 goals, and 3 games played. There's another comment here that I'll also address. How a former Olympic MVP is in the over expecting category. Well, the thing is that no one was expecting Slafkovsky to just ball out again. Like, I think we were expecting him to be that top player. But in terms of him just, like, continuing to score big goals, lead by example, be so good, maybe I shouldn't have been so kind of unexpected in that way. But to be a leader in the tournament, to be like a literal leader, and not in just points, but in just many other categories that don't even show up on the score sheet, is just crazy. Dahlin, McDavid, Natchez, they all are in the expected category. Yes, play LA, Bamba, baby. 0, yeah, Connor McDavid is in there as the expected, even though he quite literally might break a Olympic record. 9 points, 7 apples in 3 games is absolutely disgusting, and that's just at almost or just under 17 minutes a game, which is so good. Natchez, along with David Pastrnak, he has 5 points, 3 games. Yeah. And then Bjorkstrand, like, this was before Denmark played, so I haven't exactly looked at it, but he's definitely been underwhelming, especially on a team that needs scoring, that needs him to show up. He hasn't really done much. Kyle Connor, he didn't play in the game in their last one today, and he just hasn't really looked good. Now, he hasn't gotten a ton of opportunities. I think his average ice time was like 10 or 12 minutes. But again, still, for a goal scorer like that, an elite goal scorer in himself in Winnipeg, it's disappointing. And then Philip Gustafsson, I think I really did curse this guy because I said he was going to be my tournament MVP in terms of the goaltending. He has not been that. Now, maybe he gets his time back after some rest. I don't know whether they're going to go with Markstrom or him in these qualifiers, but either way, I think he'll go in. Now, he's been very disappointing. I think that he's been a little shaky at times. It's kind of taken him weirdly the first period to warm up, and then after that, he's been pretty good for the most part. But yeah, it's just been very disappointing for Philip Gustafsson, I think, as a whole, especially with his expectations that he had in Minnesota right now, and over the last couple of years when he's able to build up that reputation as a bona fide starter. So, Philip Gustafsson, a little disappointing there. But when we just go look over the statistics as a whole, shout out to Macklin Celebrini. I mean, like, lighting it up. 4 goals in the 3 games, 6 points altogether. Now, he's playing on an absolute crazy-ass line of Nathan MacKinnon and Connor McDavid, but it's not like he hasn't been one of the drivers. I mean, this guy's saucing passes and being in the right places at the right time. You got to respect that. McDavid, Slavkovsky, we've talked about them. Crosby, this guy he doesn't age. 6 points in the 3 games that he has. Matthews, he scores 2 goals today. He's at 5 points, 3 and 3 in those games. McKinnon, Natchez, Raymond, Stutzla, all these guys. Even Timo Meier, 3 goals in 3 games. I think a lot of people in their fantasy hockey were hoping that he can continue doing that, and even just the Devils to do that when he goes back to North America. Joel Armia, Delbor Dvorsky, shout out to him again. Capo Caco, he was making some crazy plays in their last game, like straight up, just disgusting. So, and even Mark Stone, shout out to him too. That guy, his skating is so wild, but he's so good. He shows up, he's so good, but it's funny when we see Young still got it, and he's just ripping down the wing. But yeah, a lot of these point guys, they're showing up and being their leaders. And then we talked about some of the goaltenders here. I will say I am a little bit nervous in Jordan Binnington. I shouldn't be too much considering his past, but look, I can't really chirp him too much. He's got the 2 wins. He started the 2 games. He has the 950. I don't know. He does have that resume, and he probably will show up, to be honest. But it just makes me a little nervous. Connor Hellebuyck, he leads the way for all goaltenders, a 952. Now, if you're getting that Hellebuyck, USA's got a good chance of winning gold. And they're not like they already didn't, but this helps considering that there were still questions about their goaltending and who was going to start. I think it was always going to be Hellebuyck, but people were having those conversations, those small conversations of, what about Jake Ottinger, who hasn't even gotten to start? Jeremy Swayman got it. He didn't look so comfortable for the most part in the game that he got. But yeah, I mean, Jordan Binnington, Giannoni, Soros, we talked about him, how good he has been. Halave, 934. Frederick Anderson, he kind of had a better game in his second half. Philip Grubauer, what kind of guy are you going to get from him in this game? There's so many questions. I'm interested to see how it will go. But these goaltenders are going to be so critical in these qualifiers and into these quarterfinals, semis, and medal games. I don't really think that's much of a question, and I'm not really surprising anyone with all of that. But it should be pretty good. I'm excited. I honestly kind of want to see some of these games go to overtime, to be honest. And we got a little bit of a taste of that with Czechia and the Swiss. But, I want to see some games that really, really, really matter go into these extra frames. So hopefully we get some of that. I mean, we got that in 2010 with Canada, USA, and the Golden Goal. We've seen that in a couple of years past with other games. Even the TJ Oshie Olympics is still kind of running back to me, and how he was sent in so many times in that shootout. It's so exciting that we have this back, and now we're finally at the games that really do mean the most. These are winner takes all. These are the one team that wins moves on. There's no second or third game or whatever. This is the one that matters, and this is going to be the biggest game of some of these guys' lives. Some stuff that these guys compete for. Some of these guys aren't even in the NHL, so it's not like, yeah, I'm going to go try and win a Stanley Cup after. I want to win for my country. This is what some guys wait for their whole lives and what they're so excited to do. And I'm so excited that they get to do that, and I get to watch them do that. So, of course, good luck to every country that is in this. All 12 teams make it. Of course, the qualifiers, everyone is going to get a chance. You never know what could happen. It's one game. You might be the better team on paper, but are you the better team that day? That's going to be the biggest question for each one of these games, especially for the bigger nations: Canada, USA, Sweden, Finland, Czechia, Swiss, Slovakia, Denmark, Italy, France, Latvia, all of these teams. It should be a very, 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 very fun time. And if I didn't say one of the countries, I think I might have missed Germany and maybe another one, Swiss. But I think I actually said everyone. But yeah, it should be pretty good, and I'm excited to see how it goes. Just quick ones here. Scoring efficiency, I mean, pretty good. Canada leads with the most goals for, followed by Finland. The United States are both tied for second. Sweden is also there. Slovakia. Power play. Canada looks like that they had the best. Yeah, they did. Followed by the United States, Swiss, Finland, Sweden, Slovakia, Latvia. Germany actually coming or tied for last with France. Kind of surprising there. Penalty kill. Yeah, I mean, USA. Not too shabby, 100%. Followed by the Swiss, Sweden, Canada, Slovakia, all the way at the bottom. Germany, again, last. It shows how much they've kind of been underperforming for a team that some people were picking as their dark horse. Goals allowed, so goals against here. France, Italy with the most. No surprises there. But Czechia also there at 12. Latvia at 12. But the least, of course, with Canada, USA. Canada only 3. Finland and USA tied for second with 5. Penalties, the most penalties. Again, this is going, or the most penalties here. France takes the most at 51. Canada with 51. Well, to be fair, 27 of those were Tom Wilson in what was a fight. I was very disappointed with that one. Obviously, no suspensions were handed out, so either both sides they don't have to suffer that. They're going to need both of those players no matter what you say. Obviously, Wilson probably maybe means more to Canada than the French player that I'm blanking on his name right now, and I feel terrible for doing that. But yeah, you don't want to see that go out. You want to see best on best all the time. So yeah, no suspensions handed out there. Canada, second, third. Sweden with 30, tied with Slovakia, and the least penalty minutes, Germany. Funny that one works. They're last in a couple of things, but this one probably the best one to be last in. And the most, honestly, interesting one, average attendance in these games. Canada with the most, at 11,486, just above the United States, who are right there and closely behind Sweden. Czechia, Czechia fans, I mean, when they were in there, it sounded so loud for all their games. Shout out to them. Finland, Swiss, the least, having Latvia at their games, 6,434. And that is the round robin. I mean, so much to get through, so much to talk about. I will be doing, of course, a lot more content coming in here. But actually, there is one more thing that I did want to bring up. And it is Connor McDavid. So, we talked about just a little bit, about how he is at 9 points. He could break a record. Well, this record is pretty close and is currently held by 2 guys. The absolute disgusting duo in Teemu Selanne and Koivu. These two, back in the day when they were dishing it around for Finland, just disgusting. And both of those points, 11 altogether for those 2 players. So McDavid quite literally needs 2 to tie them and 1 more to go past them. Now, you're probably wondering, well, there's definitely been more guys who have more points in a tournament. Yes, that is true. What we are counting here is the times that NHL players have won, which is from 1988? I believe it is, or 1998 to 2014, and then of course including 2026, because between after 2014, 2018, 2022, there were no NHL players there. But yeah, Connor McDavid pretty close to be able to do that. And I think it's pretty safe to say that he'll at least tie it. If he doesn't, then something's probably going pretty wrong for Canada, unless other guys are just showing up and scoring, which, I mean, hey, like if they're doing that as a Canadian, I'll definitely take that. But that's the last thing I wanted to touch on for this video. If you have not already, make sure you go like, subscribe, ring that bell, and comment. I want to hear all of your thoughts and predictions for this tournament. It should be, of course, as always, a pretty entertaining one, as Olympics tend to be. We've waited so long for this. Here we go again. Yeah, good luck to whatever country you are cheering for. Mine will be Canada, whether yours is the presumptive gold favorite or maybe even a little bit of an underdog. Anyone can win this. It should be a pretty interesting one. But of course, till next time, my name is Zach Staden, and we'll be talking soon.